Hello guys, my name is Harlex, and today I'll be showing you a tutorial of how to build yourself your own car wheel and basically any type of wheel. As a matter of fact, this strategy works with any like circle object, but I guess I'm just gonna title it as a wheel today. Well, first what you want to do is find a good reference picture. You see this, I got this wheel here and so the best way to I can think of it is like a sliver, right? So imagine your wheel or whatever, and so imagine it, cut it down. Well, I'm gonna be cut it down into like a sliver. So what I mean by that is, so you see this, you see part of the wheel here. We're just taking a sliver, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take basically this part right here, dupe it around to make it even on this side, and use 15 to rotate it each time and to eventually form a wheel. And yeah, basically that's the basic dupe matter we're gonna do here. Yeah, I think that would be a good demonstration to start off with, and yeah, and then it should come out something like this. Here, I'm gonna show you an example of it right here, and I took these pictures way back, and it's from my Humvee actually, believe it or not, and yeah, here's a little something how it looks. It's pretty straightforward. It's like, see the slivers, one's being added, and they basically multiply since on. Then you go back and save slot, and yeah, but I'll show you how to go do all that. Alrighty, well, to start, to get into it, first we're gonna, so if you want to build a wheel, this is the best method I know of. So let's start by placing a block, a chair, and two poles. Want to make sure your avatar is like not too tall or whatever. That way it doesn't do the something weird. Alright, so now I'm gonna go back to that picture, and well, as I could see, start out with, I kind of like to start off with like the actual tire and the like rubber tire and stuff. And I think I might make this a little smaller than a normal car wheel. So very important, whatever you do to this side, you do the other side, sort of, just to get the best lineup, in my opinion. And let's see. So you want to scale, find the middle point of the pole. There, that looks good. So we're just going to be starting with this, then we'll dupe it onto the other side, and that'll be our little sliver that we're going to work with. Then we'll dupe that around and make a perfect wheel. Right now, it's just me trying to figure out how to actually make the actual wheel. So what I'm going to do is probably speed up the video right now. Alright, so I'm going to build this tire here, and I kind of want it to go out a little bit, so it doesn't really matter too much on this side, because we're just going to be duping it over. Alright, and see, I'll get a normal wheel to compare with. Yeah, way too big. Alright, that looks good. And let's start by adding. So, materials for wheels. Oh boy, there's a lot. So ice, if you don't want any traction on your car, use ice. Yeah, it's better for like drifting around and stuff. And if you want the most grip, use sand block. They give you the most grip. For this video, I think what I'm going to be using will be, I think I'm going to be using, let's see. Do I want a traction thing? It's been a while since I worked with that. Yeah, I think I'll do it with sand since it has the most traction. And yeah, basically I'm just gonna scale this over. Alright, and we can do that a few more times. Now I want this to have a nice curve, so I'm gonna also say you want like this top part to be really nice. You could like or like exactly the same. You could always do again, you could cut this in half right here and dupe the other half down here to make it like perfect. Alrighty, so now we got everything set up. I got a portal in the stages, and that's basically what my main way to do, but you guys can always walk over and walk back. I think it's just faster. Now, let's see. Now we're just gonna figure out like how to let me see how to explain this. Now, what we're gonna do right now, especially if you have a like piece of paper to write this down. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to so here I'll just bring it over. So what you're gonna do now is cake in your belly and unanchor everything and go through your portal, best out of candy, then reload, then go back, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, it doesn't matter. And place, oh, max rotation, that easy, and boom. Not what I wanted. Well, yes, a few more seconds. There we go. Alright, time to anchor it all, move the cake. Alright, so you see, it's not going to be a perfect wheel because it's not all lined up. Now, solution to this problem is, what I'm going to do is go to 0.2. I'm going to grab a piece of paper right now, and I'm going to record like all the times after what scale I'm going to use 0.02 for this. And so right now we're not going to save anything after this. We're just trying to figure out like what's the actual max rotation, or what's the actual thickness of the parts though to make a perfect circle. So right now I got a piece of paper and I'm going to be using 0.02. And yeah, so right now I'm gonna try whatever I do to this side, I'm gonna do to this side. So scale in 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna do on the same side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Alright, so I'm gonna write that down. Here, I'll show a picture of my what I the actual scaling was for my wheel. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna number this part 1, number this part 2, 3, 4, and so on. So what was that? Crap, I forgot. Well, let me just check right here. Best part, if you forget, you just scale it back to what its original place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it was 7. 0.02 7 times. Alright, got that written down, and that's for part 1. Alrighty, now to move on to the next thing. I'll call this part 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go 6 here too. You can also do this with other scaling. You just have to measure how many times you do it and basically reload the original wheel to do it that way. Alright, now let's see what I can do here. Wheels are fun. I have a lot of them that I've made in the past. I sometimes just do these for fun, just to get back in practice, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like that. There's a little hole, but if I do that, it won't show up as much. Oh, that's 0. What is that, part 3? 0.02 5 times. And there's a little crack, so you could probably use 0.01. 0.01. 0.01. Alright, that'll be the third part. Alright, I'm gonna fast forward now. Alright, let's see where we get over here. So I don't care about these since I'm just going to scale it with the top and it won't really matter at all. For these, I'm just going to scale a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect since you're not going to see the edge. And, okay, here's a really good example. So, of these two right here. So I'll call this part, no, just for heck of it, to keep it all the same, I'll call the gray part G3, and I'll call the black part B7. just so I can remember remember them better. Alrighty, so 0.2. Now on my paper I'm gonna be doing subtraction. Like so minus, since these are sticking out too much. So minus 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 1, 2, 3. Let's go with minus 3. So 0.02 minus it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's call it 4. So minus it 4 times. So the reason why I write them down or whatever, so usually I have a, so whenever I do like seriously good wheels or whatever, I sometimes use 0 point, as I did before, I sometimes use 0.2. I use for like larger circles, I use like 2.7 or something like that. Anyway, it's really important to write those down because I'll forget, and if I write them down, I can figure them out easier. All right, so now that we got all that, and for this right here, we'll just scale it back. It doesn't matter right there. So now what we can do, so right now what we can do is, here I'll show you the piece of paper on screen right now, and basically the square. So when you see the paper right here, so the squares are how many times I scale the unit, the like 0.2, like how many times I scaled it over, and the plus or minus is pretty obvious. Like if I add the scaling, and if I decrease it, and all right. So now what we're gonna do is we have all this where we want it. Do not save it. It is not worth it. It's actually better if we don't save it. Alrighty, so let's start with number 1. Number 1 is the middle, and let's pull out a 0.02. And as I'm looking at the paper, we scale to 0.02. So 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on. 7. Alright, that is done. Now, part 2, we scale this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so like I said, I didn't care about this. Let's just make it 0 scale. Like it doesn't, just make it match up with the rest, since we don't care about how it looks. Boom! Wheel is done. Well, the tires. Now we're gonna work on this. Oh yeah, as I said, we don't care about this part right here. We just scale it over. Since we don't care, since it's an interior of the wheel, it doesn't pop out with any edges. Also with this, doesn't matter how you scale it. It could be uneven, just, yeah. No. Alright, so now, on the paper, with the B7 and the G3, we're going to be decreasing these, so we're going to be scaling it down rather than out, which is a little confusing, to switch it up, but, that's usually how you have to go with these things. That's gray, and that goes for minus 0.2 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to scale this block down. This will be the same. And scaling the B7 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wheel tutorial. Alright, we are done. Alright, now to check if it actually works is pretty simple. Pretty dang simple. So what we do is we go through the portal. Oh yeah, also save before you unanchor and go through the portal. But now we come back, grab a chair, and I have to rotate this. And I can sit down. Boom. Oh, although this is a little, huh. Alright, so I guess I maybe scaled it over one or something. Not a big deal, not a big deal. So I just see how much I messed up by. That could be brought down. Let's see. So this we can fix 0 0.0. Like we picked off a lot already. So that's basically this happens sometimes, but if you don't do exactly right, you already got like most of it done. Now it's just guessing check or whatever. So add one, add one. And that's 0 0.2 one time. We can minus it there. Increase it down here. Alrighty. So reload it. Alrighty. Now decrease this by 1. Increase this by 1. And increase this by 1. Increase it by 1 time. Sorry. Now I think that was all of it. Now to go back through the portal. Little tedious, I know, but you know, it gets the job done. Now for like rims and stuff of the car, it's a little more complicated. Like sometimes I have to use 45 rotation, which is basically rotating a chair 45 degrees. And I usually don't build build like for example, this is easy since it's like a hubcap, but if it's like Ferrari wheel, for example, there's like patterns and stuff. Alright, so now that looks pretty dang good. I'm not anchoring yet, but I think that's it. What I'm gonna basically do next. Well, actually, before I show you that, I'm gonna do this, and since it's perfect, absolutely perfect, I can rotate my chair like this, and boom. Now you'd be wondering, Harlox, couldn't you just rotate it 15, 15, 15, and just not do it this way? Well, personally, at this point, this is good because it shows me the middle point of it all, and since I don't want to have like the less parts in your wheel, the less laggy it's gonna be. So I'm gonna actually do that. And boom. There. That's one less part I'll have, which will, since we're doing this by 15, how many times is 15 going to? It's gonna save me like 24 parts or something like that. I don't know if that math is exact, but also we scale it over like this, which sadly, you see right here. Now, if I scale, it's not going to be the midpoint anymore, unless I scale it over a little bit. So now, this block no longer corresponds as the middle point. The actual chair right here and scaling it in will be the middle point, so don't use that if you're going to do what I'm doing. I'm doing it just to have less parts, which in turn makes it a less laggier. Also, if you really, like if you make tracks or treads or whatever, which are super complex, you have to I best recommend collision off them. That way it's less laggy. Huh. Alright, so now that I got that, I don't need that per se. Now, what to do? I guess dupe it over a bunch of times and place 2 more poles. And yeah, easy. Now what we do, very simple. Just like my other tutorial video, if you guys under of how to make circles. Walk over, reload it, go back, grab a chair, and actually I can do it like this. So I'm gonna do it 45 or no 90, sorry. And right now, if you really want to see how big this wheel is gonna be, like on your car or whatever, uh, at this point you no longer want to build the circle. You want to actually grab it and put it next to your car or whatever to see if the wheel will actually fit your car. For example, I had to rebuild my Humvee wheel 7 times because yeah, I didn't do this step, which will save you a lot of time in the future. But anyway, if you guys are still here, we can continue on. And yeah, basically you just keep on coming back, grabbing a chair, putting it down, and yeah, pretty straightforward. You have to remove your cake and save it and come back, place another cake because they'll just fuse out. It's not actually fused together unless you reload it. For time consuming, and it's time consuming to do it, reloading it every freaking time. So I'm just gonna keep doing this. Now, at this point, you're like, Harlock, sometimes we'll rotate it. I have a solution. So you see this? You have two of these parts right here, and you have one, actually no, forget that. You have two of these parts right here, and you see the chair right now. So what you want to do is match rotation, and for every many parts you have here, like side piece, I don't know how to call these right now, but so I have 1, 2, and I'm going to rotate this 1, 2, match rotation, delete that, match rotation, put another chair, put it in the same spot, and dang, this is actually coming out nice. One of my finer wheels, if I do say so myself. Save that, and that's a 2. So what we're going to do is go back to save slot. Not that one. We're going to go back to, not that one either. There we go. We're going to go back to save slot, use this, then we're going to match rotation, put a cake in her belly. Now, if you're like, oh, look, why are you going back to save slot? Here, I'll just show you. And you go through here, reload it, go back, and for how many times we have parts we have here, we have 1, 2, and we're going to do match rotation, 1, 2, delete the bottom one, and match rotation top one, boom. Boom, wheel, done, easy, GG. And that way we don't have like more parts fusing in with each other. Good tip I learned from just figuring it out. I say that's a pretty good wheel. I like it. It might be a little bit on the big side, but you know, it's not bad. So now we can actually delete all this. We don't need any of that. Now we can delete the chair. The block right here is very important. That's your middle point. That like if you just place it like to see the chair right now, I place it directly on top. It's your middle point. And it doesn't matter anymore. All right, so that's my middle point. This pole is gonna stand for my middle point. And yeah, that's basically how you make a wheel. And without further ado, I think this tutorial video is done. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something new. It's fun for me to make wheels. You know, it's one of my harder things to build. If you guys like this tutorial, I'm thinking about doing like other tutorials on how to make wheels and stuff. And or rims, for example, that could be like another video. But if you guys really want to see that stuff, consider subscribing, you know. It gives me more motivation to make videos in the long run. But yeah, please consider subscribing. It means a lot to me. And see you guys later.